Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keenan Smith, and I want you guys to follow me on a journey. In 2005, there was a platform that was created that changed the way storytelling was done online. Over a decade later, with more than 1.8 billion users and having paid out roughly over $5 billion to content creators, YouTube became the #1 platform for storytellers that wanted to use video. In 2016, when me and my co-founder went out and interviewed over 24 people to get customer validation for a project we were working on, we identified two big issues in the digital publishing space. When we went back to those same groups with a solution, our platform Shorti was titled the YouTube for Writers. It's a title that we absolutely adore and we take seriously for our users. Shorti is a platform that allows writers the ability to build a global audience and connect through interactive short stories and poems. The two problems that we identified when we spoke to the over 24 writing organizations, college student and creative writing, poets and spoken word authors in North Carolina were: one, building an audience. Writers have a difficult time building an audience. For example, if some writers will go and post their stories on an app called Wattpad and then have to go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter in order to build an audience there and keep them engaged, and then funnel those users back over to Wattpad to read their stories. The second problem that the writers were having were monetization. They were finding it challenging to monetize their short stories and content. Shorti solves those issues. With building an audience, Shorti allows not only for the writer to post their content on the platform, but it also allows, we also added social media elements that work to help our the audiences on Shorti, the writers on Shorti, build an audience and keep those audiences engaged. When the audience stay engaged, we then leverage that to give the writers an opportunity to make money from those writers on the same platform. Our target audience we believed our target audience would be the professional writers and people who were amateurs in writing. What we found out as we did customer research and validation is that our writers are actually people who just like to use written word as a form of expression. You'll find them at spoken word events. You'll find them on college campuses in creative writing classes. You'll find them in writing groups. You'll find them in book clubs around the country. Today, Shorti has over 4,500 users. We're in 10 different countries. We have over 3,500 stories written on our platform, actually. And this morning, get into this. We've made it to the second casting round of Shark Tank and Planet of the Apps. There's 3 casting rounds. We made it to the second, so we're extremely proud about that. And last year, we were selected to compete in the National Science Foundation I-Corps program, where we had to go and do over 25 customer interviews in order to validate that there was a problem where we thought there was a problem and that we had a solution to solve it. After the program was over, we met the criteria in proving both those things, and they rewarded us with a $3,000 grant to move forward with our idea. We have many competitors, but most of our competitors only allow the writers to post content in the digital library, so to speak. Wattpad is our #1 competitor. They have over 70 million users, and 85% of their user base actually writes stories on a mobile platform instead of on the desktop. So we consider them our greatest competitor right now, and looking at all of these different competitors. The industry that we're in the US is the digital publishing industry that is currently worth about $7.8 billion, and it's growing, which is what we're excited about to see. In 2020 is expected to be an $8.8 billion industry. Shorti makes money in 2 different ways. One is through a program called the Shorti Partnership. In the Shorti Partnership, after we help our writers build their audience on the platform, we then send them a notification to say, hey, you can start selling your content on Shorti from anywhere between 99 cents to what you deem appropriate for your audience. Once you do that, our writers will always make 55% of everything they sell on the platform, and then we'll take a percentage on the back end. The second way that the Shorti app makes money is through boosted posts. Boosted posts allows our writers to pay the platform X amount of dollars, and then we distribute their content to readers who would not normally run across their content for more exposure. This will help writers increase their subscribers and get more engagement on their stories. These are some revenue projections that we did. First, and I think the most important part about this is we're not going to start our monetization until 50,000 users. Once we hit 50,000 users, at the end of the first year, we estimate about $378,000. In year 3, we estimate to hit $1.9 million. In year 5, we estimate $6 million in revenue. We are looking to raise capital, $75,000. It's only for, right now, we have a team of 1 iOS developer and 1 Android developer. Both have full-time jobs and families. We need help to move the platform where we need it to go to get to monetization. So we're gonna put some of that revenue into having the app completed, and then we're gonna create a companion website for the mobile app so that writers have the opportunity to post their stories online other than the app. And then we're going to do an aggressive social media campaign so that we can get to, this will actually take us to 60,000 users, but that's what the 75,000 will be used for. This is the team behind Shorti. This is, of course, me. And Everett Slocum, who's the co-founder, we both came up with the idea of Shorti. Alan, who was the first developer who came on, the iOS developer, and Joel Williamson, our VP of Strategic Partnership. And that's
Wow.
Thank you. Great.
Nice job.
So what's your experience?
So I started off writing short stories. I love writing when I was in college. I was looking for a mobile app that catered to short stories, and we couldn't find one. Everything had novels. Now you can find one. But now the problem that we're solving is more so getting more engagement on a writing platform with social media elements than just having a platform for short stories.
You mentioned your competitors. What is that little piece that you have that they don't have?
It's the engagement piece. So, for example, when a writer, contrary to Instagram, where on Instagram you can post pictures and you have that engagement. On a writing platform, you post a story, and then the engagement stops. And then you have to wait till you post another story, and then the engagement stops. On Shorti platform, we want you to post your stories, but at the same time, we add social media elements so you can direct message the author. We also have something similar to Snapchat stories, where you can leave videos and pictures for your audience. Hey, I'm working on this next story. Hey, I was inspired by this today. I'm sitting here at Jamestown, and I was inspired by the history here. So we add that social media element to the platform, which is different here.
Your projections were based on something. What was your fee structure that arrived at that?
So I did a lot of digging. That was a hard concept to come up, a hard thing to find. On average, we found that in-app purchases outside of games only have about a 3% adoption for monetization in mobile apps. So we took that model and based on our user base. Some have more, some have less, but that 3% based on our users is where we came up with those projections.
How, you may have said this, how long did it take to get to the user count that you have now?
It took about a year and a half. The biggest problem that we've been facing is development talent, working full-time jobs. So an update that was that we estimated was going to be out in 4 months ended up taking. So now we're pushing any little bit of money that we can to get more talent on board and help out with speeding up those updates.
Two questions that are related. One, I think I just missed it in your deck, but how long did it take you to get to those initial, I think you said 10,000 users so far?
4,500.
4,500. How long did it take you to get to that point? And then what are you learning from them that's been really surprising or interesting?
That's a great question. It took about a year and a half to get to that point, and we've learned a couple things. One is that our writers want something. Well, first and foremost, we had this initial understanding that the short stories, once you finish one short story, it was over. We learned that some of our writers are going back to Wattpad because we don't issue chapters or parts. So that's one thing that we need to be adding. The other thing, actually, the idea of adding the social media elements came from our users and then other people that we spoke to. It was a conversation that came up where a blogger, a professional blogger, came to me and said, you know, we were talking about something else, but he said he struggled on Instagram because he had to go to all the, on his blog post because he had to go to Instagram and these other platforms to keep his audience engaged. He said, I would love to be on a platform where I can not only watch J.K. Rowling's life, but I can also read her stories. And that idea came from the user. And then after I got that from him, I went out and validated with one of our most popular writers in our app, Miho, as well as other writers that we talked to in the college days.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do you need investors?
Yes.
What for?
For the completion of development for Shorti, as well as getting a website companion and doing the marketing to get the 50,000 members.
Once you have that funding, how long is your estimate to actually get to the 50,000 from where you are now?
So we plan on doing all the tests for the monetization in between where we are when we get the funding and getting the 50,000. So as soon as we get the 50,000 users, we can flip on monetization and start doing revenue then. If that answers your question.
No, how long do you estimate, once you get funding, to actually do everything you need to do the official, from where you are now, 4,500 to the 50,000?
That is a question I would have to get back to you. I have the answer, I just don't have it in my head. I have a layout of how long it might still take us with the investment to get to this, and when the development sheet done, I just don't have it in my head.
Quick question, is it you have full-time jobs?
Yes.
Is this a hobby?
No. Well.